Okay, well, I was halfway through setting some jewels for Brocot Escapement, and I thought, well, I'm going to just show you a couple things that I do. I'm going to try and make this real quick and painless. I got a couple of goofy little ways I do it, so I just thought I'd show you guys, and this will go with my other two Brocot YouTube videos on the steel pallets. Well, these are jewel pallets. This one I have set in the yoke already. It's as you can see, it's crooked. It's not all the way set in there. I've just temporarily have got it into the spot. And I'm going to show you how I get to that point by heating up some shellac. Now, over here, you see I got a razor blade set up here. Be careful so you don't cut yourself, which I probably will, but all I have is shellac flakes. So what I want to do basically is heat up some of these flakes and make a little ball of shellac, so that I can set it in the back side of this anchor and melt it into the hole. And what that's going to allow me to do is, like I did with this one, is heat up my tweezers with that shellac already in the hole and just kind of melt it into its place. This is kind of the way I've decided to do it. So real quick, you don't want to boil your shellac, you just want to melt it. So a little bit of flame from a lighter is going to work just fine. Doesn't take much heat. Okay, now pushing this together into a little bit of a ball. Cool it off quick, and it'll just pop off of there when it cools down a little. There. Okay, so I've got a little ball of shellac. Let me get this out of the way so I don't harm myself. And we'll see how big that is. Now that's a pretty big chunk, but I'm just going to cut out a little bit off. Okay, that's going to be more than enough. We'll cut a little bit more off of there. Otherwise I'll have it all over the place. Okay. Now let's zoom in. I'll just show you how much. This is the back side of the anchor is what I'm going to melt it into. See if I can tighten that shot up a little bit. So there's a little chunk of shellac right there. Now, what I like to use, seems to make it easier for me, is a roller table warmer, watchmaker's roller table warmer. This would be a pretty good sized one. Pocket watches. I think it's stuck. There we go. So I'm going to clamp this onto here. Now I'm not applying direct heat to the anchor and ruining the finish on there or anything else. I'm going to apply heat to this arm. That'll transfer up. What it'll do is heat up my brass here before it starts melting that, and then it'll melt in nice and evenly. Most likely it'll flow out the other side a little bit, and we can chip out anything extra that we have in there. For this part, because I don't like sitting here waiting too long, I like to use a little torch. Being careful not to burn myself. This gets it going a little bit faster. Now, as soon as I see that start to melt, which is melting right now, I want it to go into the hole. It's coming out the other side. Okay. I can remove this. And let that cool a little bit. See, I got a little extra goo on here, a little extra shellac. We're just going to pick that off under the microscope. I'm going to clean it up a little bit. Let me come right back. Okay, chipping off some of the excess of that shellac is going to save me some time cleaning up later. Hopefully you can see that okay on the back side. A little extra on there. I'm okay with a little extra on the back side. I just don't want it gooing out all over the place on the front. So from here, I'm going to grab my tweezers. I want to use my tweezers. I got an old pair that I use for all kinds of stuff. I'm going to grab my jewel in the tweezers and then get set up for approximately where I want that to go. Let me widen that shot out a little bit. This is all temporarily setting these. I'm just going to imagine the center of the escape wheel down in here and get my cutout surface in an approximate area, and all my adjustments will be done by doing this and coming at it from the front with my jewel. If I don't break this one, and coming in here is going to keep this area pretty clean. We might get a little buildup coming out. What I like here too is that shellac is in that hole. It's filled it. It's going to give me a good holding surface by the time I'm all said and done with this. So let's see. Just going to grab my jewel here. Heat my tweezers here in a second, and then I'm going to place it in approximately right here. Just like that. Now you don't want to heat the jewel, you want to heat your tweezers up here. And these actually get a little warm when I do it this way. But I'll have to suffer, I guess. If you heat the jewel directly, you stand a chance of cracking it. And this is just going to be enough to get it in there. Okay, now what's nice here is that these, you can see those aren't even close to being right, but they're in there. They're in the pallet, they're stuck in there. Now I can go back to heating my material up with this again, and it'll give me a nice even heat up to and around my jewel, and I can set that jewel better, or properly. I mean, hopefully it's better. Now I can do all this with this setup in the clock movement, and being careful that I don't burn anything on the clock movement, or that none of this metal touches the porcelain dial, whatever it might be. This one doesn't have a porcelain dial, it has a little metal dial. So final adjustments can be made later like that. What I'm going to do now is heat this up. I'm going to get those pallets pushed in a little further and straightened out a little bit. And once I get all that done, then I can worry about the angle that they're sitting. And I'll put it right into the clock movement for that and be more precise about it. Not too bad. I farted around with that one a little bit. I wasn't holding it straight up. So a little too warm on that one. Warm it up a little bit. Okay, I've got this all set up. I got my escapement all put together. My pallet warmer attached to the anchor. Then I put this razor blade under here kind of as a heat shield, just to be safe about that. See how close I can get in here. Okay, so I'm going to apply heat, get in there with my loop, and we'll make that adjustment on that entrance pallet. A little bit more heat. Just a little. And gently, I don't want to force it. I'll make sure it's standing straight up. Back a little. A little more heat. I gotta get that standing up straight. Now I'll test that, and then I'll work on the exit pallet. I'll be right back. All right, well that concludes this. We have our pallet set nicely. We have other issues here too. So I'll have to call them and see if he wants me to address them also. Nicely set, everything looks clean. I'll go through that again. Escape wheel teeth have got all kinds of burrs and marks on them, little bends. So the adjustments as far as the lock and drop can be adjusted. We still need to address the escape wheel teeth first, and then we'll be able to make them final adjustments. Nice old clock. Beautiful decoration here. I love that. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Have a good day.